Well, yesterday on the press briefing at 4 o'clock, I brought up the possibility maybe we could now be looking at these rapid test kits that be brought in to help the situation. The Director of Health was saying, of course, that they're about 60% effective at the moment. But anyway, we've got a gentleman who's joining us now, and let me get this right. In fact, you say your name, because I don't think people believe this. Sorry, you don't mind me saying?
My actual name is Iaint Nosaint.
Fine. Just so you thought I wasn't going to make that up. Hello, sir. You're here on the Isle of Man, and you involved in the production or distribution of these kits yourself here. You're making a business of that, and I thought it'd be interesting to get what you were telling me yesterday, that you think these kits actually are better than 60% nowadays.
Yes, I do. Just to give you a background of what I'm doing, I'm not manufacturing. I had no plan to make a business of distributing the tests. I operate a mobile tattoo studio. And I decided to cease operation on the 18th of Feb when there was an incident in Douglas. I just didn't feel it was safe for myself or my customers. And obviously I was kind of sat around, not working, so I needed to find a solution to see if I could do something to get myself back on the road, excuse the pun. And I started looking at testing kits, and obviously there's a lot of Chinese product on the market. There's a lot of how can I put it? There's a lot of sort of misinformation and everything else going on. I then found a German manufacturer who looked quite good. Started looking into the people that were using their kits. Started looking into their press. Started looking into their history, everything about the company. And it reassured me to a point that I thought, if I was to use one of these tests, and if my customer was to use one of my tests, or one of these tests, then I felt that I would be comfortable enough to tattoo under the circumstances that we were working under, and also the customer would have an added layer of security.
Any idea of what percentage, though, you're talking about? Because this is the whole dilemma, isn't it, about having a test?
This is the problem with them. I mean, on the tests themselves, there are two of them. There's the antigen rapid test, which of course is the intrusive, which is the nasal swab. Now that claims a 92.5% accuracy, but that's under clinical conditions. So that's in a laboratory using plasma and that sort of thing. I'm no scientist, Paul. Let me point that out at the very start, and I'm not trying to be either. I'm very much a layman learning as I go along. The other test is the antibody rapid test. That's more of a non-intrusive test, a small blood test, and that claims a 98.3% accuracy. Again, this is under clinical, so that would be using, I believe, plasma and other systems to verify this. Now, the difference between the two tests is that the antigen test, again, as I understand it, that gives you an instant result. That is the nasal test. So that tells you if you have coronavirus or not. The antibody test is something slightly different. That will pick up antibodies after around, I have been told, day 4, but they state, I think, day 6 to day 7. So that will tell you if you've kind of got the virus or if you've had the virus. I make no guarantees for the accuracy of the tests. I don't know enough about it to make those guarantees. What I was personally looking for was just another level of security before I tattooed. Kind of like we wear PPE. PPE is not going to protect us in every circumstance from coronavirus, but it helps us and it gives us an added layer of security. I simply looked at these tests as a further layer of security on top of the PPE. Unfortunately, just as I got the tests into stock, the lockdown happened. So obviously I haven't had the chance to use them despite the fact that my customers were very much on board. I haven't had the chance to actually use them in practice for the tattooing. And now that we're in lockdown, obviously that's not an option.
And of course, I was talking about schools yesterday, and things have moved on. As we record this, schools are now closed. But at some point, things have got to get moving again. And I think people accept that these tests, until that, well, nothing's going to be 100%, are they? Let's face it. We do get false positives as well on other tests. So this thing is something to look at. I mean, do you see it now being a business for you, sort of thing, or what?
I mean, I've had quite a bit of uptake in the last couple of days because obviously the tests are of no use to me now for my business at this moment in time. So the way I looked at it, I know that there are essential businesses that are open. For example, I mean, just to pick one off the top, I know of I tattoo a couple of mechanics who've got their own kind of workshops, and they've got people working in these businesses, and they're essential. You know, they need to stay open for various people to keep their vehicles on the roads. But these guys have got to go to work every day and work in for example, like a bubble, for want of a better word. And if they could all do some sort of test, you know, before it goes in, again, it just gives them that added level of PPE. Maybe it's even false, a false assurance. Maybe it's just a psychological thing. But, if I come back to my own business, if you imagine I sit in, as you can see, it's quite a small studio because it's mobile. I'm sitting with my customers for 4 to 5 hours. We're in a confined space. Yes, I'm fully wearing PPE. My customers are very much on board. Great bunch. They will do their bit, whatever my sort of stipulations are. But the main problem that I have in here would be if either one or other of us had the virus, it would be viral load, which is a major concern. You know, maybe doing a test just takes away that nervousness that in what I do, you know, to sit and do a nice tattoo, I need to be pretty relaxed. I don't need to be sitting here worrying that I'm about to catch coronavirus.
Right. Well,
and I thought, you know, there are other businesses out there that must be experiencing the same level of anxiety, you know, and if these kits can take a little bit of that anxiety away, then it's certainly helpful. I think what the government said is right. They're not the answer, because if you get a test, you're only clear for the moment that you get the test. You know, you could walk down the road and literally catch the virus within a couple of hours. But I think what it gives you is a starting point. You know, if you know that you're kind of clear at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, you've got that kind of relief where you're like, okay, I'm clear of coronavirus. And then you can very much police how you go about your day. You know, I mean, for me, what I was looking at doing was I was looking at using the antibody test. I was looking at starting with an antigen test, which would be a nasal test, which would give me an all clear immediately. And then from that, I would go on to antibody tests to kind of check my progress kind of daily to make sure that I'm staying clear of coronavirus. And I would have sort of self-isolated to make sure that I do not come into contact with anybody outside of my safe bubbles and outside of my working environment. That would have given me the best possible chance of keeping myself, my studio and my customers away from risk.
So have you got all these kits here in the Isle of Man, or you've ordered them, and then are you selling them on, or what's going on?
Yes, I've got stock in at the moment. I got in touch with the manufacturer. I did as much due diligence as I could on the manufacturer. As I'm going to keep saying, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert on coronavirus, but I have been in business a long time, so I'd like to think I'm reasonably good at sourcing stuff. The first thing I did was look at who they're dealing with and who their clients are and who's willing to put their name to this product. And I was quite taken aback, to be fair. I mean, you've got World Superbike teams who are putting their name to this product. You've got care homes who are using the product. The product's being used in the Bundesliga. It's being used quite heavily in Germany because obviously it's a German company. I mean, there's a lot of big hitters who are saying, yes, this product is okay. Obviously, they're a lot bigger than I am, but I feel pretty sure that they're going to have done some serious due diligence. So it gave me the confidence to buy this product. I spoke to the UK distributor. They're not doing anything in the Isle of Man, so I just asked if I could, see what we could do with this, see if we could help to get some businesses open.
And that's the way you're viewing it. To me, people might say, "Oh, he's just getting on the back of this and making a quick buck for himself." But you generally, when you approached me the other day, that was the first thing you said from your mind. You see that this could be a helpful service. I mean, are they expensive to buy these from you, or what?
Yeah, I wouldn't describe them as cheap. No, I think with all this technology, it's going to come down in price. It's like everything; it just depends. I think with there's so many products on the market. I mean, if you look at teeth whitening, for example, it will guarantee that it will 100% whiten your teeth, and it won't. I mean, you look at many things. I mean, in my industry, people buy into tattoo numbing cream. It just does not work. My personal view is I don't think they're the cheapest of kits, if I'm honest. There are cheaper kits on the market. They're Chinese. They're very cost effective, but I wanted to go with something that I felt was a good backstory behind it. Something that I thought was a quality product.
Okay, so of course your main business being tattooist is off anyway for the time being. So I obviously feel free now if you want to give us an email or the website or phone number. How do people contact you?
The website is ontheroadtattoo.com. The kits are available on there in short supply. Website is always the best way to get hold of me. So it's ontheroadtattoo.com, or you can email me at info@ontheroadtattoo.com. The social media is @tattoo race truck. I'm on Facebook. Facebook is probably the best one on the island, I think, for contacting or looking at what we do.
And is this going to be something you'll continue with while we're still in this pandemic? Ordering more, diversifying? I mean, let's just quickly talk about this. I mean, your business being hit like this, is this your income stream basically gone?
Oh, completely, yes. And for the 2 weeks, obviously, that I shut down in February, I'm not getting any government support because there was no lockdown. So I just took the view, it hurts, I mean, don't get me wrong, the business is not about to go under. We're a strong little business. It's just me that works it. It's my passion, as well as my job. But I take it very seriously. I take cross-contamination very seriously. I take my customers' health very seriously, and I do take these matters seriously. So if there is even a risk, I take the decision that it's on me to do what's right, as opposed to being told to do what's right.